Welcome back everybody to another Auto World Zone video, and some of you might recognize this backdrop. It's the bike shed in London, of course, and we're here today to look at a bit of a special project that they've been working on. It's a Custom Royal Enfield Bear 650, and it's actually one that you can buy from them. So in this video, we'll talk to Dutch about the design decisions and all of the parts they've changed, as well as take it for a spin to find out if it's actually any good. But first up, I wanted to know what made them choose the Bear 650 for this particular project. When Royal Enfield came out with the Interceptor 650, everyone was like, this is a really good little bike, it's fun. And if you make them lighter and mess around them with them a bit and change the pipes, you can do an awful lot to make them a really nice little ripper that's really good fun, and they're lightweight. And when you compare them to the Triumphs, you're dealing with a much lighter machine. Yeah, it's lower powered, it's not quite the same level of spec, but for the money you pay, you've got a really nice bike. But the first thing everybody said is, well, where's your scrambler? Yeah. Because Triumph had the 900 Scrambler and they were selling like hotcakes, and everybody was buying the Scrambler kits. So clearly there was a huge market out there for street scramblers. Everybody wants to be Steve McQueen on a desert sled, and I remember saying to the guys at Royal Enfield, where's that in the model lineup? You've got the GT, you've got your cafe racer, you've got your Interceptor for your street bike. Where's the cafe? Where's the scrambler? And of course straight away other people started making them. So loads of custom builders were out there putting on knobbly tires and high fenders, and reconfiguring these bikes as scramblers. So we actually did a project in LA for Tom Clementive. We built her a bike, and we turned an Interceptor into a scrambler, and we talked to Hitchcocks. We got to make some Heil pipes, cause despite the inconvenience of burning your leg when you put your leg down, they look cool. And I thought it's got to have high-level shotgun pipes, and we did that as a sort of a precursor. And I knew at the time when we were doing that bike that the Bear was going to come out right. Because I'd been given loads of hints, Adrian Sellers and Mark Wells, they like to tease you and give you bits of information they're not supposed to give you. But I thought, well, we'll carry on doing that project anyway. But I had in mind the fact that we were then going to do something with whatever they did. And for me, the scrambler is one of that purest forms of bike. And a lot of scramblers, I mean any bike that's purpose. Built for a reason to go off-road or to race on track is a custom bike, per se. What you're going to do is you're going to change things. You're going to make it function better for the purpose you have in mind for it. And so for me, that story of how we would then make a bike like that lighter, have better suspension, lose kind of things like the catalytic converter and things that compliance makes you have, but you don't really get rid of all the extraneous reflectors and giant indicators. That was going to be part of it. But when the Bear finally came out and we saw the bike, I rode one at Motoverse this time last year, and I was like, this is actually a really capable bike already. They've done a lot to really improve the suspension and the look of it. The stance of it is really nice. But knowing the guys at Royal Enfield and other manufacturers, they're always building to a budget. They've got to build a bike that they want to sell at around $7,000, and the way I look at any kind of custom process, especially on the modern classics, is you're not doing a ground-up build. What I do is I'm kind of channeling the original designers and going, well, if they didn't have a budget, what would they have done? If they weren't held to a price point and to compliance, what would they do? It's like the concept sketches you often see along the way that they release. And then the production bike's not quite there in terms of the desirability, and quite often you see concept bikes that are awesome, and then when the actual bikes come out, they're a little bit of a disappointment. That happens most of the time, to be honest, because you go, yeah, that's awesome, please build one, and then they don't. They build whatever they can for the money and for the budget. For me, we're liberating the original designer's idea. And scramblers should have high-level pipes. They should have quality suspension. You want as little fluff going on as possible. So we took the Bear and we looked at it and went, well, there's not a lot to change, to be honest. But there are lots of things that we would like to do. So, I guess the hero piece was really these Hitchcock's pipes. And obviously, you know Tom at Hitchcock. He's an ex-Formula One engineer. He builds ridiculously high-quality product. And actually, one of the biggest discussions we had was how posh a pipe do you need on a bike that's 7 grand new, because, you know, Hitchcock's pipes are not cheap. And I was like, well, if you do it as part of a whole package, I think you sort of build that value in, because I think there's about a 20 kg weight difference between the original pipe with its cats. And one of the biggest compromises for me on the Bear was that giant pipe. It's pretty low slung, isn't it? It's kind of like underbelly with the cat. Like you say, you got to store it somewhere, and they've sort of tried to make it flicker up a bit. It's not the prettiest exhaust pipe on the market. It looks a little bit like a kitchen appliance, and it's not great, and I know that wasn't the pipe that they would have put on the bike. So we started with the pipe, and then we didn't have to mess around with the frame or the subframe. We didn't have to loop. This is the original loop. This is the original fender. We just removed all the extra galbins that they put on there. The seat we recovered and shaved down, but it is the original seat. FastTech do all this. You know, they'll take the seat pan, they've got seat pans, they'll recover them, they've got another one already sitting there in stock.